Welcome everybody to Cinema Royale. I am Travis Hobson of Punch Drunk Critics, and you see to my left is my old buddy John Nolan, who hasn't been here on the show in a while. What's up, John?
What's up, everybody? What's up, Travis? How you doing?
It's good to see you again, man.
You too, bud.
And good to see all of you. I haven't done the show in a few weeks. In the last few weeks, I have moved. The last time I did a show was Top Gun Maverick, and at the time, I was saying I'm in the process of moving, and now I've moved. So now here I am. I'm settled in, and now it's time to get the shows back on the road again, but also got to play a little bit of catch up. And so today we're going to talk about Jurassic World Dominion, which honestly I've not talked to very many people about, which I think that's kind of an indictment on the franchise in and of itself. And we're also going to talk a little bit about Lightyear, which came out last week, and is Pixar's first movie to come out on the big screen in a few years. Like before this, the last one to do so was Onward, which feels like a lifetime ago.
Wow.
I know the last couple of movies from Pixar have been straight to Disney Plus. So yeah, Onward was the last one, and its run got interrupted by COVID. Like it was short. COVID.
Yeah, I remember that. That was one of the first like direct to video ones they did, right? Not direct to video, but straight to streaming.
Cut it short, and then they put it out on digital. So this is a kind of a big film, and it makes sense for Lightyear to be the movie that they would bring back into theaters because it's more of a popcorn entertainment movie than your typical Pixar. But we'll get into that shortly. Let's talk a little bit about Jurassic World Dominion. And the thing is, John, I'm not sure I remember the plot already. I feel like I've already forgotten it.
No, that's the beautiful thing, Travis. I don't think you need to remember the plot, other than it's another Jurassic World movie. Before we get into it, I just got to ask: Is there an onus? Does a franchise that started off with something as iconic as Jurassic Park, does it have a requirement to continue being iconic, or can it just evolve into fun? Because that's kind of what we see here.
I feel like other than dinosaurs and what they attempted to do with this movie, these don't feel like Jurassic Park movies to me. I mean, I don't know. They feel like something else.
Any of the world ones?
It's not necessarily bad. It's just I don't know. I can't, like, before this movie, I couldn't remember the plot of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Like, and they were going over stuff in this movie that I was like, I forgot all about that. Oh, there
was an auction, and there was some girl that had like dino DNA or something.
I literally forgot about the girl who was a clone, and I forgot about her. And I was like, you know what? I don't remember shit about Jurassic World, like nothing. And it's not that the movies are bad. I don't think they're bad. It's just they don't linger on the mind at all. And I feel like Dominion will be sort of the same way. And the plot is, I call this one sort of like the Planet of the Apes-ization of Jurassic World. So you got like dinosaurs out in the world now. The only thing they aren't doing yet is like talking and like forming their own armies.
Wearing business suits.
It's like the only thing they haven't done yet. And they'll save that for the next trilogy. Because it'll have to happen at some point. There'll be dinosaurs driving tanks and shit.
Yep. Right. That would be pretty rad. I mean, I don't know if it'll be as cool as Caesar on horseback with a rifle, but just seeing a dinosaur driving a tank with a little helmet on, that's worth the price of admission right there.
I was thinking about those movies too, because in the process of moving, I was kind of going through all my Blu-rays and all my stuff like that. What am I keeping? What am I getting rid of? And I found the Planet of the Apes with James Franco. The first one was directed by Rupert Wyatt, and I was like, do I have all three of these? Because I couldn't remember if I had them all. And as I was going through, I realized that I did. And I was like, oh, I do have all three. I was like, I should really rewatch these.
That first one is quality. It's really good. I mean,
I think it gets better in quality as it goes along. The first one's the worst. So? Yeah, the first one's the worst one, at least to me. And it's not, but none of them are bad. Like none of them are bad. But the first one's the worst one. They get better when Matt Reeves takes over. He takes over with the next two.
Yeah, I can see that. I guess, for me, it was really, and now we're viewing Planet of the Apes, but,
Again, an
CV,
indictment of Jurassic World Dominion.
Right. My CV with like historical film is not where it should be. Like, I've seen The Godfather, but there's a lot of classic stuff I haven't seen. Like, I never saw the original Planet of the Apes, and my entire exposure was the Marky Mark movie. So the seeing Rise of the Planet of the Apes with James Franco, I was like, oh, well, this is taking this seriously, and it's got a logical plot. But yeah, I mean, I guess, going back to Jurassic World, and this is how you can tell it doesn't have a memorable. You can always tell by what you do remember whether or not the story was memorable. Like the one thing that stuck with me through this is that the filmmakers made a decision to publish the stat that only 30 some people have been killed by dinosaurs since they came on shore. Which if you're going to go to that point, why put something so totally unbelievable? You get dinosaurs around, only 30 people got eaten.
And like, look, if you told me that only herbivores got out, I'd be like, okay, well, maybe then I could believe it. But that's not the case. No. It doesn't make any sense. Even if
not, a brontosaurus would be stepping on them,
it's a bullshit.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, whatever. But it seems like this movie, which really does bring like the whole cloning angle to the forefront. It kind of emerged in the final act of the last movie. That much I remember, and it really comes to the forefront in this movie as dinosaurs are roaming the earth. But I think the main hook of this movie was to be like this sort of Avengers style team up. So you got like the original Jurassic Park crew, the three behind me, Alan Grant and so forth. Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum, and Laura Dern. God, I love Laura Dern still. And and bringing them together with Chris Pratt's Owen and Bryce Dallas Howard's Claire, right? Yeah, I was gonna forget her name for some reason. And bringing them together for one big mission. They kind of come together like a little like after like the halfway point. And there's like this one scene where they're like all together on the screen, and you're like, that's the poster shot. Like that's the shot.
Yeah, you expect the camera to circle around them like in Avengers, the classic Avengers shot.
That's the merchandise shot. Like that's the one that'll go on the t-shirt and so forth. That's that shot's there for. But when it happened, I think that was what the whole point of the movie was to get that one shot. Because I feel like there's nothing else that I care that it accomplishes.
No,
and that's sad. I feel like there's probably a lot of people that feel that way. Like people who are like really excited to see these three return. Like that was the moment. Like, okay, we got all these people together now. We got our shot, and we just wrap this thing up.
I think one of the problems they have with this is, like I mentioned before, you have essentially two completely different types of franchises. You have a true landmark science fiction movie. I mean, nobody will ever watch a movie with the awe that we all did in 1992 or whatever it was when those brontosauruses came out before we had seen CG like that. I mean, it was, you can't even describe it. It was better than Portals in Endgame. But so you have something that's iconic with real actors, not that Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard are real actors, but, I always forget his name, Neil, not Neil Allen, the main guy. Sam Neill, there we go. You got him, who's a legitimate good actor. And Chris, wow, I'm about forgetting everybody's names. Chris Pratt is a legitimate movie star, but I don't know that he's a legitimate through and through actor. So you have this first trilogy that's about story, that it's about performance, and it's about this amazing display of technology. And then you have this second series that's basically a blockbuster tentpole franchise movie. And putting those two together really kind of just highlights how little we got out of the second franchise. I had a ton of fun with it. I'm not going to lie or cover that fact. These movies are fun to watch, but it's like getting DQ on a Sunday night. You're not going to remember it on Tuesday, but you had fun while you had it.
There are a couple of like really decent action sequences in this. I think the first one is probably the best one, where they're kind of running away from these I kind of would call them terrorists, I guess, who are using dinosaurs, like basically remote control dinosaurs, like, and sicking them on people. There's a great chase sequence with Chris Pratt's Owen on a motorcycle that really works quite well. And I think that's sort of the best action sequence. Like there aren't, like the dinosaur scenes didn't really do much for me because like violence felt so neutered in this. Like this felt like such a PG-13 Amblin movie, like nobody gets hurt, nobody gets killed. And the dinosaurs really felt kind of toothless. Like I had no fear of any of them. Like not the Tyrannosaurus Rex, or not the brand new dinosaurs that they kept hyping up throughout the movie, but didn't really do all that much. And and I was like, the dinosaurs are here, but they're sort of like window dressing, which is what I mean when I say that when they got that moment with all the stars together, it felt like it had done everything it intended to do.
Mhm.
That was it. And I was like, that was a great scene right there, but I'm not
Yeah,
feeling a whole lot for this.
it's not enough to build a movie off of, and it's kind of clear that they had that intention as soon as they knew, really as soon as they put Goldblum in the last one and saw the fan reaction to that, they were like, all right, well, let's get the money truck up for Laura Dern and Sam Neill and get them in here, and that's fine, but and it's a great cherry on top, but you got to have a cake to put it on. I mean, we're seeing that a lot with these what do they call them, like legacy sequels or legacy trilogies that are coming up, where they're bringing the old and the new and put them together, and it's just it's a very cool gimmick, but it's a gimmick. You got to have other stuff behind it if you want to have something truly memorable.
Yeah, the only memorable character out of this, the only thing new and memorable out of this for me was DeWanda Weiss's character, and I can't remember her name off the top of my head. She plays a pilot.
Kayla,
yeah, plays a pilot. And in my review, I wrote that she felt like she wandered in from an Indiana Jones movie. She's like the hero character of the movie. She's the swashbuckling rogue. She's like the Han Solo of the film.
Yeah,
and
she's what Chris Pratt should have been.
Kind of the kind of character he was in the beginning,
right?
And now it really isn't anymore. He's been domesticated. So now he's not so exciting anymore. But standing next to him, she was the more exciting of the two. I was more interested in her character than just about anybody else in the movie. I mean, I'm a fan of Sam Neill and Alan and Laura Dern. So yeah, I was excited to see them their characters hit it off romantically. We've
been waiting for that for 30 years. For a long
time. So I was excited for that. But but in terms of new stuff that this movie brought, she was the only one for me, and I would like to see more of her if they're going to do more movies. Bring her back, and let's see what she does next. The rest of these guys, they can kind of retire.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny that you mentioned the Indiana Jones, like she walked off this set of Indiana Jones, because it felt like with the first Jurassic World that somebody had money on Chris Pratt taking over that role, because it felt very heavy Indiana Jones-ish in his handling of it.
Isn't this an Amblin movie too?
I think so.
I think it is.
Right, they're involved in some point. I mean, they have to be, because Spielberg did Jurassic Park, so I got to imagine he has some oversight.
This is an Amblin movie, just like the Indiana Jones movies are. So I mean, I feel like, I mean, who knows? There's probably some connection there. Who knows, man? But I just, this movie's made a ton of money. It's done extremely well. They'll probably take a bit of a break and then come back soon with the announcement of the start of a new trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Would you want to see these characters return, or would you rather see them start over something new?
No, not in this iteration. You know what? And this might be stupid, or my taste showing.
Time, right?
What's that?
They had to jump forward in time, right?
Yeah, either that, or what I would love to see is Chris Pratt and Blue in a buddy comedy. Just him and the dinosaur, because as stupid as it might be, I like that. I like that he's best friends with a velociraptor.
You want to see them do a Turner and Hooch with
yes,
Owen
exactly. No, I want them to do like Lethal Weapon, but play it straight. And don't act like it's a dinosaur.
If Blue starts talking, they can do that.
Right.
Who knows? If they don't, they'll be like those insurance commercials with the guy in the ostrich. Which won't
exactly.
It won't be that.
Yeah, I think they kind of blew their well, let's not use an unfamily friendly term. They lost all their mojo by bringing the dinosaurs into the civilized world in the middle of the next one. Number one, it took away the shock factor, if you want to call it that, from this movie, because we already knew and we'd already seen about it.
We still got a facilities destruction anyway. That's like the Shield helicarrier crashing in every event. It's like it has to happen in every Jurassic movie.
Has to. But I just don't know what else you would do with this concept at this point. I mean, it's an awesome concept. People love dinosaurs, always have. But what else can you do?
I mean, like I said, the Planet of the Apesization of the franchise, man. You got to have them out there and taking over. That's
all there is. That's all you can do that hasn't been touched.
It's really the only thing that's left to do, is to have them take over the world, and humans become the less dominant species. We're just
Now, do they do that? Do they do that knowing what they are, or do they take it seriously and go full bore with dinosaur rise of the dinosaurs?
We're humans, so we fight back.
Yeah.
and we probably lose.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, the filmmakers, like, when you make that movie, do you make it kind of tongue in cheek, like, hey, we know we're ripping off Planet of the Apes, or do you go serious with it and make it like a real movie like that?
I think you bring in a real filmmaker and you do it seriously. That's the way I would do it. But
as long as you had a good story, that's the hardest part. You can go tongue in cheek and have a shitty story.
You can't bring back Colin Trevorrow. He hasn't really made a good movie since Safety Not Guaranteed. So I mean, I don't know.
I still want to see his Star Wars script made movie. I mean, I didn't hate.
Fuck yeah, we all do, man.
I didn't hate Rise of Skywalker the way everybody else did, but I tell you, it became hard to defend it after I read that script. I was like, Jesus, this thing is full of every cool thing I've ever wanted to see.
It made, yeah. Look, we all want to see that movie get made. It's never going to get made.
Yeah,
because you know what I would do. I would throw out Rise of Skywalker, say that movie didn't happen. This is the movie that we're going to make. And the thing is, Trevorrow's script is probably terrible, but the ideas in it are good. And that's the thing that matters. Yeah. And they'd have to have somebody come in and like rewrite it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's all make believe, right? So I wish that we as a society would be all right with saying, hey, we're all going to pretend that one didn't happen and give it another go. I mean, how many awesome movies could we get rid of and see the new awesome versions of? You know?
All I'll say is I'm more into Star Wars right now than I have been in a long time.
It's hard not to be.
Huh?
It's hard not to be.
I mean, Obi-Wan Kenobi was really good. I mean,
I understand the hate.
I have some quibbles and some definite plot holes in the finale that just.
Oh yeah.
But
have you watched the finale yet? I haven't seen it.
Oh yeah, I watched it. Oh yeah, that's why I got some.
Okay.
I got some issues.
Maybe we can jump on and talk about that again as soon as I watch it, because I usually
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, I usually have no problem ignoring the trolls and not listening to anything they're saying. But for some reason, it just really got under my craw that they were hitting Kenobi so hard. I'm like, what it all boils down to is for Star Wars, for Marvel, for any of these things that people have their childhood wrapped around. It's like, you are damned if you do or damned if you don't when you tread on that ground, because people have had 30 years to come up with their own backstory for what Obi-Wan Kenobi was doing, and you're not going to get it perfectly for everybody. So that's the only thing I can think of. One reason people would choose to hate instead of love.
Well, look, I'll say what I say when it comes to wrestling. When wrestling does shitty stuff, you can just not do the shitty stuff. I mean, you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
If you're going to make Obi-Wan Kenobi and you know it's a gamble, you know what's going to get picked apart if you have like big plot holes and continuity errors that don't make any sense. You know that's going to happen. Yeah. You could just not have those things. Like you
could. I mean, you pay a lot of money.
No, they're there. They're not stupid. They've done too many things right for me to think that they didn't know that these plot holes were there or that the continuity errors were there. I know Jon Favreau and all those folks know that. I know they do, because they know Star Wars better than I do. So
and they have plenty of money to hire.
That's a choice they made. And look, a lot of people will be able to get over it, and I can get over it. I like the series as a whole. But I know that those things are there, and that's annoying.
Yeah, it's just lazy, because you know that they have plenty of money to hire an additional script supervisor and an additional continuity expert on set, and they just don't.
Why? Why do you have so many plot holes, Obi-Wan?
I know that.
Why?
Oh, see, now I'm getting sad, because I know it's not going to wrap everything up the way I want it to in the finale. I just I hope that at some point they just make the Force Unleashed canon and do a Star Killer series with Sam Witwer.
Well, there's a rumor that they're going to do a Fallen Order thing with
I could see that, because they've already hinted at Cal Kestis a few times, but and now the Force Unleashed thing would definitely cause people to light their torches on some of the continuity problems you'd have there. But it's just such a cool story.
Wants his movie. He wants his movie now.
Yeah, it's such a good game.
You know what? I literally just started playing it a few days ago. I've never played it before.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's good. And now I had a dark realization. Like the first time I played it, it took me like a month to beat, and it was kind of frustrating at times. Yeah. It was frustrating, and at the same time, I found myself wishing there were more enemies to hack through. But the second time I played it, I was like, well, I just want to familiarize myself with the story. It was like a year later, so I put it on story mode, which essentially is easy mode. I gotta be honest, I had more fun playing that game.
Interesting because they've kind of Obi-Wan referenced a scene from the game, and
Oh yeah.
So I mean, it's I like the way they're bringing characters from the games into the shows. I think that's awesome, and it makes you feel like,
Fortress Inquisitorius is a whole level in the game, and they, they obviously knew what they did in the game because it was exactly like it. It was a great continuation.
Did it have the bodies in it too?
There were bodies there, not the Jedi bodies, no, but there were bodies.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, I like that whole thing. So
yeah, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
Anyway, all right, we're done talking about Jurassic World.
We're talking about Jurassic World.
I know, right? And that's kind of.
Do all your other guests bring you this far off the track every time?
I feel like I should change my background to talk about Lightyear. I wonder if I even had like an image for a Lightyear that I can bring up here. Let me see if I do or not. I might not. I'm just gonna pick one at random. See what it does.
I'm not comfortable talking about this movie because I don't know if you knew this or not, but there's two people kissing in this, and that's just terrible. America's falling.
There's
people are idiots.
There's lesbians in this. And
oh my God, you said it out loud. We'll never get on YouTube now.
So Lightyear, and this is another movie that I think I have some issue with in terms of like how it fits with like Toy Story.
Yeah,
but it's basically it's almost like the Buzz Lightyear origin story. But basically, it's the movie that Andy watched, and it's the one that made him fall in love with Buzz Lightyear as a character. Which I'm like, this movie made you fall in love with Buzz Lightyear because it's not much of a Space Ranger movie. You know, it's not. It basically finds him stranded on another planet with a bunch of humans and other space rangers, and they're stranded because of him. They're stranded because of him being kind of arrogant, not wanting help from others, and he takes something on his own and he does it wrong and it screws up and everybody's trapped. And there's a very Pixar-esque opening sequence where he's going off into space over and over and over again, or attempting to get off planet. And every time he does it, he loses 4 years. So every time he comes back, the people he knows have all aged 4 years while he stays the same age. And of course, they keep growing old. And eventually those people start going away. It's a very sad, very emotional, very Pixar-like.
It's not quite an up opening, but it was pretty sad. Yeah.
It was pretty sad and pretty effective. But then, of course, he gets another shot at it, a whole new bunch of misfits who try to help him get off, but also to beat back the alien invaders led by Zurg. I didn't understand Zurg in this either, by the way, compared to the Zurg that we know from the cartoon.
Yeah.
Toy Story. But whatever. That stuff like that it's also annoying because I know Pixar knows better too.
Yeah.
But I'm like, whatever. They're probably aiming this for kids and still, so they probably think that we don't care. But
they have the benefit of not having to bring in actors if they need to reshoot a scene. Like, I know animation is no easy thing, but it seems like they should know better. And like in the 80s, even the 90s, I can forgive it that you'd see these gaffes or these continuity errors on screen or like coffee cups left out because the thought was they're going to see this in a theater once and never see it again. They had no idea that we're going to have 4K UHD still frames of all this stuff. But, now in the world we're in, if you're playing in that league, if you're playing at that level, you got to know that people are going to dissect the shit out of everything you do. And while you won't get everything, you can at least try. So those easy misses are, kind of annoying for sure.
Yeah. What did you think about the movie overall?
I liked it. I also didn't, I had to watch it kind of like detached from the Toy Story mythos just as a movie on its own, because it doesn't really, like you mentioned, if it doesn't reek of something that's going to make a kid go out and buy the toys, and this is going to be their favorite person. And I don't have a problem with them not using Tim Allen. I thought that was actually kind of cool. And let's be honest, Chris Evans has like one of the most heroic voices out there. So that seemed okay. But after the first 30 minutes or so, I'd say, I felt like it started to really drag, and then
I felt
kind of devolved into something that was halfway between expected and not knowing where it was going.
Yeah, look, it's it's a very linear story. Like there's not a lot of meat on it. Like for most of it, it's basically just him and his misfit crew, who all were like one note personality types. For the most part, you know, most of them goofy. And them trying to fight the aliens and do whatever they needed to do. And it's pretty repetitive for that point once they get together. And then all of a sudden they introduce this other facet, like this time travel thing that I think is like a big problem. And
yeah, that definitely seemed added on.
It felt like something that somebody was like, well, we need to, like, there's not a lot here. We need to add something to this. And I was like, and I remember when it happened, I was like, this feels like it came from a different movie. It doesn't feel, it's not, it no longer felt like it was for kids, number one, because a kid wouldn't understand it. Right. But it also felt like an artificial way of just like keeping the movie going. Because this probably should have been like an hour-long special. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't even think about that, but as soon as you said it, it clicked. Is that that's exactly what it feels like? It felt like they finished production, they finished post, and they're like, oh crap, we've only got an hour-long movie here. We need to tack on 30 minutes. How can we do that?
This should have been an hour-long special on Disney Plus, not a feature-length movie.
And I kind of wanted more. I know you mentioned Zorg already, but I kind of wanted more on that, like, because we never really got much that I remember, at least in Toy Story movies, other than he's this cool looking robot alien with a dress, basically. And we didn't really get any of the world building that I was expecting, or it didn't make the Toy Story movies deeper on any level. And I thought that was kind of a shame.
Definitely not. It definitely didn't. This is like the first real inconsequential like Toy Story movie. Like if you even want to like say it's part of the Toy Story franchise, which I guess you'd have to say it is. It's like the first one that's like totally inconsequential. Like if you watched it, great. It doesn't make any of the other movies better. It doesn't do anything for those movies, and they can't do anything for it. So it's like, it's
if
just
anything,
sort of there.
It confuses the original movies, if anything.
Yeah, it's just sort of there, and that doesn't mean it's bad. I was entertained for the most part, mostly by the cat Socks, who was amazing. And I imagine there will be Disney Plus spin-offs featuring Socks at some point soon.
Oh yeah, I liked the character. He was obviously the toy pitch that they had in there.
I want a team up between that cat and the cat from Captain Marvel. Like they should team up, and that should be the show.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. And maybe I'm not thinking about this right. Maybe it is just Captain Marvel and Lightyear, but I feel like space cats are a thing. Like there's an inordinate amount of movies set in space that end up having a cat. Like Alien, Ripley had a cat.
Yep.
What is it
space
about?
Cats are cool. Cats in space, I don't know why they're cool, but they are.
Because they're cleaner, I guess. You can't have a dog shitting all over your spaceship.
Guardians of the Galaxy have Cosmo.
Oh yeah, but he's sentient. He's not a dog.
True. But yeah, I don't know. Like I felt what you're saying too. Like it did kind of drag at certain points. Yeah. And but other times when it really gets into the Galaxy Ranger spacefaring action, and it's actually pretty good in those parts. And at those times you can feel why they made this one like the first return feature, to the big screen, because it feels like kind of a summer popcorn movie.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And at those moments you're like, okay, I can see why they did it for this and not Soul or Turning Red or something like that, which are both great movies and much deeper than this.
Yeah, they're less mindless entertainment and more, cerebral. When you're watching them, which we should be able to trust kids to enjoy more cerebral movies. But in the summertime, it's kind of what you want.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking for a movie that's going to bring people back into theaters. This is probably the movie you want to try and lure them in with. Now, box office wise, it didn't do great, so I don't know. Maybe that strategy was wrong.
So You've been we trade off every once in a while, rarely, the box office duties at punchdrunkcritics.com. But I hadn't done it in quite some time, and I'm fascinated with the post-pandemic box office. What's considered good, what's considered bad. I saw Lightyear, didn't win the week, but it was up against Maverick, so I guess Jurassic World. So I guess that's expected. But a $50 million take post-pandemic, is that not a good take now, or are we past the point where that's not good?
It's not great, especially for Pixar. Especially for a Pixar Toy Story adjacent movie, it's not great.
Now, are we back to expecting $100 million weekends, or like 75 would have been good?
I mean, I look at it like this: is it going to do better than The Bad Guys is doing? It might not.
Yeah, that's a good barometer right there.
And if it's Pixar and it's not doing better than The Bad Guys, this random like Paramount, is it a Paramount movie? I think maybe.
Yeah.
It's this random movie with no IP, no recognizable anything, that has been killing it at the box office.
So good though.
Still killing it. I've still not seen it, and I kind of want to watch it.
Yeah, and they got a lot of good voice talent in it, but that's the thing. I mean, if your whole reason for making a movie is to lean on established fan bases, and you don't create anything else, you're going to get your ass kicked by something that actually has a good, interesting, funny, well-written story.
Right. But it doesn't seem like it's going to do better than The Bad Guys. It's not being received as well as The Bad Guys, critically or box office wise. So to me, that's a failure. To me, that's a failure. So
when you title this episode, you got to title it like super clickbait, like some of the other sites do. Is this the end of Pixar? And then just that ...
Yeah. Is Lightyear the beginning of the end for Pixar?
And that stuff's getting so bad. Like, I literally see stuff that's like, Darth Vader to get his own TV show, and you click on the link, it says, no, Darth Vader is not getting his own TV show, but this is what we think. Come on, jackasses. That should be illegal.
It's bad. You can screen crush the hell out of some headlines, man. I mean, it's just, say that headlines is a complete opposite.
It was hot earlier, but now it's kind of shady in here.
It sucks, man. Oh, man. So that's Lightyear. And actually, that's both of our reviews that we're going to do today. Maybe we should, after you watch Obi-Wan, maybe we should reconnect and do a rundown.
Yeah, man, for sure. I would love to break it down.
And maybe invite like Rocky or May in here and talk about Captain Marvel when that's done. Because I've been enjoying that too. This third episode was
she is so freaking adorable. And I don't mean that to sound misogynistic or anything like that, but she looks like she's having so much fun. Imani Vellani? Is that her name?
Imani Vellani.
She just looks like she's having so much fun in that show. And it like beams out of the screen. It's
a shame that it's like the lowest watched Marvel series. So.
Yeah, well, and I don't disagree with the people that are bitching about the release schedule, that they released it while Obi-Wan was still going on, and unless I'm mistaken, that's the first Marvel/Star Wars show that was released while another show was still running. I don't know, in the world of streaming, does that really affect people that are watching the other one? But it definitely takes away from the buzz.
In the world of streaming, I don't see why it matters.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can think of,
it's not as if they're cannibalizing from one another. You can watch them both back to back, or watch one the next day. That's what I did. I watched them back to back.
The only thing I can think of is that Obi-Wan's taking the trending spaces on Twitter or whatever that Miss Marvel should be getting. But and I know you keep it short nowadays, but I just got to know real quick before we jump out here. Have you watched The Boys season 3 yet?
Started it yet? That's my next thing.
Okay, so I need to hear from you once you see Jensen Ackles on there, because the dude is so good, man. He's really got a chance to show it in this. He is amazing as Soldier Boy. So I'm looking at.
If I knew who Jensen Ackles was, I would totally do it. But I don't know who that person is.
You know exactly who Jensen Ackles is.
I can't help you there, but I'll try to watch the show, and if I can figure out which character he's playing, I'll get back to you on it.
Yeah, let me know what you think of that, if you can figure it out.
How deep are they into that show by now? Is it like episode 4 or 5?
Yeah, it's 5. Next week's Herogasm.
Okay, yeah. Well, the Herogasm storyline I know very well, so I know that's nuts.
I will tell you, it's much different than the books. It's still crazy and it's still out there, but it's anybody that's looking for the HeroGasm episode to be a page to screen transcription of the books is not.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it to be that. No, I wouldn't. But
I don't know. After that opening scene,
I do expect it to have some of it, though.
Yeah, after the opening scene this year. Now you haven't watched any of it. I'm sure you've heard about this, but after I saw the opening scene this year of The Boys, season 3, episode 1, I literally said to myself, there are no taboos in this show. They can do anything they want.
Yeah, that's why it's cool. All right, man. Well, thank you, John, for joining me on this episode of Cinema Royale.
Hey, man,
we will definitely do this again soon. This was a lot of fun. I am Travis Hobson. This has been Cinema Royale. You can find me every day at punchdrunkcritics.com. You can find John on Twitter at punchdrunkjohn. Is that still your Twitter handle? And you can find me on Twitter at punchycritic. You can find Punch Drunk Critics on Twitter at PDC Movies. And you can find us on Instagram and Facebook and so forth and so forth and so forth. Thanks again for tuning in to Cinema Royale. I will see you again soon. Bye. Thanks for checking out the show. If you like what we're laying down, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell to receive notifications for all of our latest stuff.